What's up guys, welcome to a new video, and I am here about 2 hours north of Cape Town at a place called Beaverlek. I actually don't know how to say it, but we're in the mountains. I wanted to test over these 2 camping days what it's like to use the Osmo Pocket 3 in a 2-day camping adventure situation. Pretty common situation I think most of you guys would want to use this camera for. I am of course filming on it right now with no ND filters, no wide filter. But yeah, I just want to see how it performs in this sort of scenario. We're going to be going on a bunch of different hikes, doing a bit of swimming, and just doing some camping stuff in this beautiful landscape. Light's really good. I don't have the mic system that comes with the creator kit, so everything you're going to hear in this video is going to be onboard audio, which actually from my experience I think is very good, but you can judge for yourself. And the picture profile is in just the normal picture profile, and with the new update, or one of the recent updates, the regular picture profile is also 10-bit. So everything you're going to see pretty much straight out of the camera. I filmed a little bit of the journey on getting here and I think it looks pretty sick. So let's jump into the video. So in true British fashion, for morning breakfast, I've gone for baked beans. Every time I go on an adventure, I seem to have the same problem, which is, do I bring this camera or do I not bring this camera? It's just not super rugged, especially if we're going to be hiking over rocks like we are in this terrain, and also swimming. Because this thing is delicate, you know, it's not waterproof, and the form factor makes it a lot less practical than the GoPro. I know this isn't the main application for this camera, but it is a very practical application of this camera. I decided to bring my GoPro with me, but because I have the Pocket, I wanted to film with that also, just to really make a comparison between the two. This GoPro is so much smaller and lighter and more rugged. It's just almost like a no worry, and you know you're going to get a good picture. The Osmo has a lot of cool features and it's fun to use. The audio is much better, but it's not quite there. If this thing was really rugged, it would be a different story, but you're still able to capture these incredible vistas with this camera, and the image quality is awesome. We're going to go swimming now. We'll do a bit more filming over there. In the most majestic area. Looks deep enough. How cold do you think it is? I think it's gonna be freezing cold. Yeah. Woo! Wow, this is pretty awesome. Up here in the mountains in South Africa. This spot all to ourselves. Apparently, if you hike up to the top, there is another set of rock pools that you can swim in. Whoa. Look at, wow, what an incredible place. Look at how this rock is just perched. Look at this spot, dude. What the fuck? So one of the best purchases I ever made was this little thing here. This is a Mobula 8 little FPV drone with a DJI air unit, O3 air unit. I think mine's broken because it has a weird jitter on it, but I can pack this thing in a tiny little bag like this and travel with it and get shots like this. So I think one of the most compelling reasons to take this on your hike with you, especially if you're alone, is the fact that it has the active track and it can kind of act as a little camera person for you. If you just leave it and track you, you can kind of walk through the frame and get all those little extra shots to kind of spruce up a video. Going back to what I was saying earlier in terms of the form factor and how it's a bit of a pain in the ass, you really just can't beat the form factor of this little thing, you know? It's so small. The fact you can just chuck it in your bag and not have to worry about it is really quite compelling. And I don't think the image quality is that bad in comparison. Here's some clips that I filmed earlier on the way up here. Can you really tell the difference between the GoPro and the Osmo? I actually don't think you can. So the Osmo has different filming modes, like horizon leveling and follow mode and FPV mode. I've just been messing around with it a little bit. I have a feeling you could kind of make drone-like shots with this thing. I definitely looked goofy whilst running around trying to fly this thing like a little mini airplane. But it's a good way, I think, to get little dynamic shots, to get a bit more creative with your shots. One thing I'm really enjoying is the new feature that they added with the latest firmware update, where you can hold the record button midway through recording to delete that take. So if you mess up what you're trying to say, like I've done continuously during this little hike, you can just press the record button, hold it in, and a little symbol pops up on the screen, a little trash can symbol and a timer. You hold it for a few seconds and it just deletes that clip. So if you know you messed up, you're not going to have to go through that clip. Another slightly frustrating thing with the DJI Osmo Pocket 3 that I've found is getting used to the navigation system. I find that a lot of the icons on the screen on this thing are a little bit too small for me to accurately tap, and I often mistap them. I don't have that big of thumbs, but maybe they're too big for the navigation system. And the fact that I own a GoPro as well and have for years, my memory of the way that it operates kind of defaults back to that. So with GoPro, to see your footage, you swipe up from the bottom. Well, on this you swipe from the left side of the screen. To get to the settings for whatever mode you're on with the GoPro, or the master settings, you swipe down from the top. GoPro does change their menus with every iteration of their camera, but they still say in that orientation. It's just completely different for the DJI system. And I also have an Insta360 X3, which is the completely different system as well, with a different way of navigating that. So it just makes it quite confusing if you switch between each one of those quite often. I'm always like having to spend twice the amount of time to navigate the menu system of this thing. But I wish that they would just all kind of follow each other and standardize it, you know? I don't think GoPro patents that system, so but unfortunately I don't think that's something that we're going to get. Just another thing to take note of, if you're a GoPro user, it's going to take a while to get used to. Unfortunately, I don't think that this Osmo Pocket 3 is the perfect companion camera if you're doing kind of adventuring and hiking. The image is really awesome, but if you're getting in the water or you're scrambling, or you need some like POV shots or something like that, different mounts to get that, I mean, you're gonna need an action camera. And I guess DJI know this, hence the reason they have an action camera as well. But if you're thinking it's gonna be your perfect all-round everything camera, it's definitely not that. Ah, there's people paragliding. That's pretty cool. I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but if you're wanting something that has higher picture quality and some little creative extras like active track, good slow motion, and a gimbal, good low light performance, this is definitely a good camera to have. I don't think I would get rid of this camera, but it's just, Pocket is just not the only camera. If you're walking around cities and stuff, I think that's probably a different story. Towards the end of last year, you might know from my channel that I was in Malaysia. I used this camera in a city scenario and it was very good, you know. I had access to power, the audio was pretty good, low light capabilities were really good as well. So I was quite happy with it. My only gripe would have been you have to keep putting it in this plastic case, which is a pain in the ass. But aside from that, it's pretty good. I'm definitely going to get the DJI Mic 2 system to connect it up to this thing, especially since my Mic 1's the receiver broke. It just doesn't turn on now and it drains the battery of the case. If you know anything about that, let me know. But I think ultimately, to make this the ultimate little package, you got to have the microphone as well. One thing to note about the battery is, yes, it charges really quickly, up to 80% in 16 minutes. But out here camping, we actually didn't have any access to any power, which could have been a really good excuse to completely switch off and not film anything. But charging it through my USB in my car, it took forever. And I think that is about it. Unfortunately, I've got to drive home, pack all my stuff and go back to the UK. But if you like this video, please subscribe if you feel so inclined, and also leave a comment below. Anything you want to know, I'm happy to make another video about it. These Osmo Pocket 3 overviews seem quite helpful to people, so I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you later.